The following video is for my English and Composition class at the University of Arkansas, and you're going to notice it's a lot less positive than usual. I'm talking about a topic that kind of irks me, so it's going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly this video. Be prepared. I'm really proud of my school. I actually really like the University of Arkansas. I have so much fun in my classes. I love going to school here. I've got the Razorback shirt, I've got the Razorback hat. I'm really proud of this school. Go Hogs, you know, woo pig, all of that. But there's a big, stinky embarrassment to this school.
All I do is win, win, win.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
48-10.
They push their...
BYU is going to win this football game.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Well, two stinky embarrassments. Other than the football team, the most embarrassing, stupid thing at this school is the parking. The parking at this school is awful. It's over-enforced, overpriced, and it's not very clear why. Minor infractions have huge fines, even compared to the local area around the university in Fayetteville. The permits to register your car are insanely priced. The student parking is over $100. For charging this much for parking, you would think the parking would be at least somewhat adequate, right? Wrong. Most of the economy lots for $115 usually have a 15 to 20 minute walk if you can get there in time to find a parking spot. If you're less lucky or you arrive later in the morning, sometimes you might have to walk in excess of 30 minutes from the parking lot to the school. There is a cheaper option for $25, but then you have to walk about 45 minutes or have to take a bus from the parking lot to the school. And even the bus ride will take 15 to 20 minutes. If you want a parking spot at one of the several parking garages around campus, you'll either have to pay by the hour, which is usually about $2 to $3 per hour, or pay for an annual parking pass, which costs over $700 for one of the reserve spots in these garages. This is a ridiculous amount of money for a bunch of broke college kids who are already up to their ears in debt. I personally have the green permit for $115 that I end up hardly ever using because it doesn't save me any time from just walking to campus from my apartment. In fact, I want to take you along for my morning commute to show me what my $115 has bought me. Alright, so right now it's just your average Thursday morning. I have to be quiet because the girlfriend's still asleep. Making some coffee. About to go to school. Normally I walk to school, but for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and use my green parking pass to show you guys what the commute looks like.
Bye-bye, Gustav. I gotta go to school. I love you. Bye-bye, kitty. Bye-bye, Gustav.
The time is currently 9 o'clock, and we'll see how long it takes me to get to school. As you can see, it is completely full. 9 o'clock, not a single open space. Well, there's the first parking lot, completely full, not a single space. Let's try number 2. Nope, also completely full. Not a single open space. There's some parallels up here on the right side of the road, which I can usually park at for my 8 a.m. classes, but not a chance for today for my 9 a.m. So we got lucky, there's one parallel spot open. It's currently 9:08, pulling into the parking spot. See how long it takes me to walk to school.
On campus, folks work for adding things where they're needed. A lot of this
All right, the time is now 9:23, and I'm finally here, which is about 2 minutes faster than from when I walk from my house.
Also, another significant and frankly disgusting problem with parking is if you happen to stay too late at the university on any particular weeknight, then you might find your car has been towed. And that's because on a night of a basketball game, the university clears out all of the green parking lots where people like me park at and tow all those cars to a remote location. This is frankly ridiculous because I have to stay late at school all the time for required recitals or just practicing music as a music student, and I know I'm not the only person who has to stay late at the university from time to time. I have friends who are art students who had to stay late working on projects, friends who are engineers or physicists who have to stay late working in the lab or working on projects. The fact that the school has the audacity to tow these people's cars shows that the university prioritizes their athletics over the learning that they're supposed to be promoting as a learning institution. Also, I should mention that it's a problem for the football games too, but it's a lot less of a problem because the football games are on Saturday. They just shut down the whole university. There's no classes or anything that most people would be missing, so it's not as big of a deal. Hopefully, if I've done a good job problem framing, then you can hopefully understand how widespread and how significant the parking situation is on campus. Now that we've identified the problem, we need to start looking at potential solutions to the problem. In order to do that, we need to look at the ways in which the parking services do business. And we especially need to look at how they're spending the money that they get from these exorbitant prices. Now, theoretically, finding the finance information from a department of the university like this shouldn't be very difficult because public learning institutions in Arkansas have to publicize their spending. The issue is on their website, they're extremely vague about how this money is being spent. And in fact, in their FAQ section, the response to how is the money being spent is a really almost snarky sounding reply pointing us to a 3-year-old document. What year is it? To a 4-year-old document about how the money was being spent in 2019, and this document is still extremely vague. The first thing that immediately jumps out to me is the fact that the total income matches the total operating expenses to the dollar.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Look, I'm no expert in finances, but I've been to my fair share of budgeting meetings in my last line of work. I know that that will never, ever, ever happen unless you're dumping excess money somewhere. But we don't know because they're not transparent enough with their finances. This department of the university has $9.8 million, almost $10 million. So how are they spending it every year? Why do I still have to walk 20 minutes if they have $10 million to work with? Well, let's find out. We can see that $1.2 million goes to their salaries, which Sounds reasonable enough. About $4 million goes to the debt for the garages, which doesn't sound quite right, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then the one that really trips me up, general expenses, which says lot and garage maintenance and operations, supplies, equipment, tow fees, etc. $3.8 million. What could this money possibly be going to? I ran some quick numbers just to get just kind of an estimate of the things they list off, like maintenance fees and their vehicles. And even with giving them a wide range, like a very generous amount of spending that they need to do to have nice vehicles and their crazy AI software, I could not find any logical sense as to why this number is so high. My estimates found that for things like towing fees, which usually cost average people like $50, they're not towing them super far, so it shouldn't be like in excess of $100 per car that they need to tow. The trucks they drive around campus probably cost about $30,000 per, and they don't have more than, say, 12 employees off the top of my head after looking at their website. So they surely don't need more than 6 vehicles, but we'll say 8 just to be sure. Gear like boots, which are not particularly expensive, they're just metal that's been machined out. They cost less than $60 sometimes. Even if we say it's $100, be error on the side of caution, say that they spend $100 per. The big one, and this is really ridiculous, is they spend estimated based on what other universities spend, because I can't find any information from our university. The estimated cost per electronic AI detector in their cars, which allows them to basically just drive around and let the computer spot people's license plate, which messes up all the time, and I've gotten several citations for lots I had paid for because the software screws up so often. But it also reduces their cost of labor, so they don't have to pay people as much. Instead, they're paying for these exorbitantly priced AI machines to read people's license plate for them, but they're paying per unit $65,000. Now, if there's 8 vehicles, that's a lot of money. I'm showing that's over $520,000. Now, this all seems like pretty expensive stuff, and it is. Everything I've listed off so far is about $700,000. We'll say it could even be up to $1 million. That's still way less than the $4 million they're claiming to spend on stuff like gear and maintenance. Now, gas is going to be a big cost that I couldn't find any good estimates from their website or online. But I highly doubt that's going to range $3 million per year. Now, the issue with everything I've listed off so far, except for gas, all of these things are one-time costs. They pay for these things once, and then they have to pay a much lower cost to maintain them for like gas and maintaining the trucks. That should be nowhere near $4 million, or excuse me, $3 million is remaining from all the crap that we've subtracted so far. What are they spending all that money on? Where is it going to? They don't provide us any information. I can't figure it out from the estimates. Be more transparent. We can't provide you any sympathy for the parking situation when we don't know how the money is being spent. If it's being mismanaged, we don't know how because you aren't transparent with your spending. Onto the garages themselves. The $4 million, in my estimates, if they got like a 10-year loan, that doesn't sound super far off, actually. The problem of transparency with the spending overshadows the problems I listed off in the beginning of this video. Because we can identify problems all day, but we can't find solutions if we don't know how you're doing business. We want to help improve this situation. Now, I've tried to contact the parking services to request more specific information on their budgeting, and they have not responded to me, shockingly. I can identify problems with the parking all day, but unless I can see the specifics of how you're spending money, there's no way we can come up with any reasonable course of action to fix these problems. To close this video out, to the parking people, publicize your numbers. Let us see how you're spending the money. Not 4 years ago, show us how you're spending our current money, the money I have paid you. Show us how it's being spent If it's really no way for you to build any new garages or anything, or lower the cost of permits, so be it, but let us see it for specifics. Not with $4 million to a general expenses to the university. Please hold the parking services accountable. Everybody knows this is a problem. The faculty has to deal with this also. I urge you to please hold them accountable.